Hi everyone. So Ashley Van Gilder here. I am here to present on my Master's of Instructional Technology e-portfolio. The end is in sight for this program. I've enjoyed the last 2 years working on this program, and I've learned so much, and I'm excited to share this with you. So I have my general information here. If you go to candidate info, you can see a little bit about myself. I teach sixth grade science and social studies in St. Mary's, Kansas at St. Mary's Grade School. It is a public school. I've also taught sixth grade ELA. This is my 7th year teaching. I graduated from Kansas State University and then taught out in Western Kansas for a while. I have 2 little boys. They're awesome. My husband and I live in Westmoreland, Kansas, and then he commutes to Manhattan every day. In my classroom, I have one-to-one Chromebooks. They're actually one-to-one in our district from 3rd grade all the way to seniors, and then our littles have one-to-one tablets, either Android tablets or Chromebook or iPads. I'm working on becoming a Google certified educator. I utilize a 3D printer quite a bit in my classroom. I use green screens, especially now that our STEM lab is officially open. I wanted to get my master's in instructional technology because I always knew that I wanted to do something in technology. And with the way that our society is going, it seems to lend itself to needing to teach kids the skills that they need to be successful. Um, and you can read more about me as a candidate. I enjoy using technology, and I want to help others know how to integrate technology in their classrooms. I am a presenter at CAVATE, which is the Kaw Valley um, Education and Technology Conference that they hold in the summer. And then I've also presented at MACE. Um, and then I do have some goal statements. This is my family, my husband, my 4-year-old who will be 5 here in the next month, and then my 3-year-old. And then also under candidate info, if you go down to my technology philosophy, um, this just kind of explains a little bit more about why I want to include technology more in my classroom. Um, I believe that students learn best when technology is incorporated in lessons, either if you're utilizing it or if the students are utilizing it. And in my social studies class, I teach ancient history, and we do talk about the use of technology and what makes technology. And I mean, technology is anything that makes life easier. It doesn't have to be computers for the technology, it could be anything that could help you teach a lesson more efficiently. And then I also have my resume here. As you can see, I got my undergrad at Kansas State University. I graduated in May 2012. I expect to graduate from Fort Hays State University May 2019. I've been a teacher here at St. Mary's Grade School, which is a Title I school, since 2014. I am also the current Director of Christian Education at our church in Manhattan, so I do have that on my resume, as well as I work with youth and adults on a regular basis. I taught 5th grade at Oakley Middle School, which is also a Title I school in Western Kansas. I was also a coach and a sponsor for 2 different activities. And then you have my references, my principal, girl that I teach with here at St. Mary's, and then a colleague that I had at First Christian Church. I tried to be as comprehensive with everything that I do here at the school as much as I could. And then for my activity evidence, we'll look at my professional development plan with Kaw Valley, my training videos, my professional presentations, 3 article summaries, and then my 9 resources. So here's my professional development plan. As you go through, you'll see all of these events are supposed to take place at the Kaw Valley Academy of Technology and Education Conference, which runs at the end of July. These would be sessions that I will present. And so we'd cover cyberbullying, and student projects with technology and online formative assessments on the first day of the conference, which would be Monday, July 22nd. It kind of goes through like what each of these sessions will entail. And then on July 23rd, I'm going to talk about using green screen since that's something that I utilize often. Also Tinkercad, since each of our buildings in our district have a 3D printer that are available to teachers and students to use. And then I just want to make sure that people understand how simple it is to design. And then on July 23rd, I have a presentation over visual literacy. On July 24th, I'm only going to be presenting 2 sessions, one on assistive technology and then one on Boom Writer. With assistive technology, we have quite a few students in our school that require assistive technology. And so this would just be kind of like an update for some teachers who are either new to the district or those who want to see what else they can do to help their kiddos. And then on July 25th, I will be doing infographics and picture charts and Powtoons. So some of that digital storytelling for students. It does go through with my rationale here. And then readiness, like what everyone's going to need. Most of our staff has a prior knowledge of their school email and password, which is basically what they would need, and a device. And then they only have to commit to the sessions that they want to go to. There'll be other sessions going on, so they pick the one that will be most needed for them. And then if you're a member of the staff, if you're a member of the staff of Caw Valley, then it's actually a free conference, but there's a fee of $15 a day for those in attendance from outside districts. It's very affordable, and you get some really great professional development. And then it goes through and it talks about the activities that we're going to do. I utilize technology in all of the assessment and evaluations, and it's something that we can all look at, and I can share different things with them as well. And this goes through and talks a little bit about how I'd be looking or what I would see if they understood it, and then also it gives the standard that we would be covering from ISTE. Then from there, we have the training videos. This first video is when I presented to my students and I showed them how to create an ancient Greek brochure. We were looking at trying to recruit people to come and use a time travel company that we created and had to explain different information about ancient Greece. And then the second video is a Powtoon commercial. So I showed the students how to create a Powtoon and how to then upload it later on. So that way we'd be able to view them and see everyone's commercials. And then I presented at MACE this year. And so this is the presentation that I gave over visual literacy. I also gave the same presentation last July at the K-8 conference as well, and I plan on doing it again this coming summer. These are my professional presentations. So this here is kind of, since I do ancient history, I integrate technology wherever possible. This first one shows the students how to design the format for our ancient China books. I have them type it in here and then we print it off and then they hand illustrate everything. So this goes through and kind of shows them how to do that. I used Weave Video to do this presentation. I have the Powtoon upload, so this just goes step by step through the process of uploading a Powtoon from Powtoon, not publishing it to YouTube, but then adding it to Google Classrooms. That way the rest of us can see it. And then also a review of Classcraft. This is a classroom resource that I'm wanting to use within my classroom, either kind of towards the end of this year to kind of get a taste for it and then into next year. I think it's great and kids love using video games to learn, and so I think this would be a really good way to integrate the two of those. And then I have my article summaries. The first article that I have deals with assistive technology. You click on this link here and it'll take you to the summary, but this article basically reviews the different technologies that you can use with kids to help meet their needs. This other one is technology in the classroom, tools to teach writing. I used to be an ELA teacher. I'm not doing it this year, but I know I will do it again in the future. And so this looks at how you can use technology to help you teach writing in your classroom. Again, if you click right here, it'll take you to the article. And then how to use technology to teach a history lesson. Um, let's face it, a lot of kids think history is boring. I get it. It can be. But this kind of looks at how, as a history teacher, you can make history come alive to reach some of those kids that think history is just boring. Um, and then each of these has the standard that it meets. And then in my extra resources, this is just a compilation of 9 videos. This is actually one that I've shown my students before about cluttered versus organized presentations, talking about what should go in your presentation, what looks good, things like that. We've got one on book snaps and just incorporating activity similar to Snapchat into your gen ed classroom. This one talks about interactive technology that you can use for with students, talking about tort liability and everything that goes along with that. Remind.com is a resource that I use with my families. It's how I communicate on a regular basis. I have an app on my phone and I can just send a quick message rather than going through our email system. This one here talks about hypermedia and some of the pros and cons of using it. Then we have internet use and violations. This is another one that I always talk about with my kids about what can we do on the internet, what can we download and then repurpose. This just looks at FERPA because I feel that every educator needs to be updated on what rights they have under the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, and what you can and cannot share. And then this other one is on cultural awareness. I live in a very Christian community. That's where I teach. It's got a very high Catholic population. And so this was just something that I made for my cultural diversity class to help educate others on some of the other major religions that we have in the United States. And then I have the reports. These will show the faculty review forms and then the peer review forms. And then this final reflection area. This is where I have the transference reflection over the MIT program at Fort Hays State University, my process through it, and what I've come out or what I've come away with from the program. And then I will also include this tour video here on this page. There's a spot for it. So I've really enjoyed this program. I've grown so much. I've come away with so many different ideas. And it's the most beneficial thing for me is always sharing ideas with other people. We always learn more if we share our ideas with others. So thank you.